Hello, I'm Douglas Quincy Rohal, and thank you for tuning in to today's exposé. We are visiting a relative of the Argus C-44r Camera from our first episode. This camera, made in 1958, has many bells and whistles compared to the old trusty brick. This is the Argus C-44r. You might notice how complex it looks at first glance, as it has many components that are not original to the camera but add-ons. We'll discuss those a little bit later. So let's get those components off and just look at the bare camera. There, much simpler. Now let's get into the various components of the camera and how to use it. We'll start with the shutter speed dial. Its fastest setting is 0.03 of a second, and its slowest is 1/10 of a second. It also has a bulb for long exposures. This little denotation right here tells you what setting you're on. Of course, you have to flip the camera around to stare at it to know what you're on, though. This lever right here is your film advance and shutter priming lever. It's also why there's the -R in the title. This camera requires 2 pulls of the lever to prepare your film for shooting, 1 to prime and 1 to move the film itself. You can also see the film counter in action. It counts down as opposed to up like many modern cameras. This is the film rewind lever. It's quite a delight. First you press down this red button. Then the lever pops up. All you need to do to reverse the film back into its cartridge is rotate this, following the arrow of course. You also need to press in the film advance and shutter prime lever, or else you'll just tear all your film. Ask me how I know. These lenses were designed with the Michigan Digital Automatic Computer, an early digital computer. Did it make it any better? No. But I think it made it cheaper. This accessory was a frame finder. Because these were not SLRs, you couldn't really tell what you were looking at through the lens. So this device would help you figure out what your framing would be. It has buttons for 35, 100, and 50, and of course, a distance knob, so you can dial in what your camera should be seeing more accurately. This amazing piece of equipment's a light meter. Essentially, it will tell you what f-stop you should set your camera to take a picture with perfect exposure. It's truly an essential piece of kit, and I wish all the cameras came with it. It also allows you to look at what your shutter speed is without flipping the camera completely around. Truly a desirable feature. This is the entire back of the camera. Solid, with no sealing foam, which means this camera has lasted better than some 80s cameras, as now foam is not rotting away, allowing light in. Now let's put some film in this baby. This film is from, 2003, so I think it's perfect for our testing. Let's open it up and get this camera loaded, shall we? Now that we have our camera and our film, we can start loading it. First you need to turn the lock on the bottom to remove the entire back plate. Real convenient, actually. Then we have to set it awkwardly because there's not a good way to do it. Unload our film. 200 film is really what you should be putting in here. If it's 400, you'll basically be shooting at maximum speed the entire time. Slot it in its section. Pull the lead across. Get the pickup reel in the correct place. And slide it right in. Give it a crank to get it in the right position. And now we're ready to put the back plate back on. Can you tell I fast forward because it's not as easy as it looks? There, now we're ready to take pictures. Let's get started. Once again, we have our fluffy duck shell-tarted destroyer as a subject. So let's use this camera. First, we can check our light meter to figure out what shutter speed and f-stop we should be at. We can make sure it's adjusted to our film speed right here. Yep, looks good now. Then we look through our focus lens. This one again has a yellow circle in the center to tell us if we're focused or not. Then we can check our framing lens, make sure it's set on the right lens and distance as well. Now with those in place, we can take a picture. Then go to our next frame. Another. Beautiful. He's really killing it out there. Once again, thanks for joining me in my exposés. I'm glad I could show you my favorite camera today. Well, until next time, have a good day.